27th of August, so I'm going to actually conclude this sort of compost challenge now for the season, because you can kind of get a gist of the whole peppers. The strawberries, I'll discuss that in a minute regarding them, but we'll say potatoes already had the reveal, and you obviously saw the results from that. So same compost, look round and see which ones they were. We have the Westland John Innes number 3, which I think that was a mature plant. This is the Westland New Horizon. This one is the Westland's multi-purpose for John Innes, and this one is the B&Q's Good Home multi-purpose. So these two are peat free. These two have about 50% peat in. So do I think because it's peat free? No, I think it's more to do with the consistency of the compost, the overall impact in some ways. I mean, this one's done okay, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick all the peppers off these. They will continue to grow some more, but we can have a look at the yield per plant sort of thing. But just looking at them, it's just generally these two have been most consistently better because of they're quite fibrous, you know, and these obviously are fairly loam, they feel loam based, quite loamy and quite hard. And things like peppers, I knew from the beginning that they would kind of prefer this type of compost. So I think it would be the same for tomatoes as well. So if you kind of go, I mean, the potatoes did well, better in these two, I think, if I remember rightly. So if you kind of go with like loam based for roots and fibrous based for fruits, you'll probably not go far wrong. So we'll start off taking some off these. They've all been sort of grown exactly next to one another, each other in the polytunnel. So they've all had these sort of consistent sort of pestering by pests that have been eating them, just some little caterpillars and stuff like that. So I've been picking them off. They have had, you know, a feed, all been fed the same, the Tomarite tomato feed, which you can get from your B&Q, because they donated all the compost for this challenge, which was very kind of him. So hopefully if they're up for doing something else next year or something similar or a rerun of it, there's been a few ideas about maybe including my own compost, which I'm fine with that, you know, I don't mind doing that because all my compost is made out of the scraps of what I grow, really. So we'll start off, we'll take off what we've got off this end, and I'll just pop them in front of the pots. Obviously, once you start picking, it'll make the plant produce more. The red pepper is only because it's been on there a while. They all go through that sort of colour staging. But, I say this Westland one, this New Horizon, it's the vegetable compost. So it is very good. It does dry out quick. That's the only sort of downside to it. So maybe a bit of a mulch on top or something. You know, there's five good peppers there. You know, and obviously a red one. You know, and there's more buds at the top. So because they'll be robbing all the plant life, so some of the buds will drop off. But now all the peppers have gone, it'll want to produce more. That's just how the plants live the cycle. They just want to reproduce. Variety of these peppers are Californian Wonder, a fairly sort of standard pepper. I mean, I'm going to take a tiny one off here because it's a yield. You know, when it's a comparison, I have to. But as tiny as it is, there's one up the top here that's really tiny. I won't cut that one off. It's probably that size of a peanut. And then this one is the Good Home. I've grown some peppers myself in another brand of compost called Jack's Magic, which you can also find at B&Q and basically wherever you get your compost from. It is worth sort of trying a few. Even if you buy compost, just different varieties, and just see how something does best in anything. Right, well, I'll do that and that the following year. Rather than just buying a one for all compost. Obviously, this sort of comparison, it shows that there are advantages and disadvantages to certain composts. But if you were to say a one for all on this, I'd probably still go with these two, to be honest. Even though this one produced probably, one of these two did better rounds for the potatoes. I think if you kept on top of the watering more, these two would be your best all-rounders, I think. But compost changes, from obviously the manufacturing side of it, it changes in consistency. I've had reports of some have found it good and some have found it quite coarse, but at the end of the day, it's still compost and it will inevitably do what it's designed to do. But overall, you can see by the yield, that has kind of won by a mile, the New Horizon vegetable one for the peppers. And I imagine if I grew tomatoes in it, courgettes, cucumbers, melons, squashes, all that sort of thing, and aubergines, it would perform the same. Like I say, with root vegetables like carrots, parsnips, potatoes, probably even like beetroots and onions, they would probably prefer this. But then again, they will grow in this. They'll all grow. You'll get a return on any compost you use, providing it's not contaminated. You will get a return on it. So regarding the strawberries, I've cut the tops off them because they were kind of getting a bit old and tatty, and so they've started producing fresh tops. But for the strawberries, to be honest, they were all pretty similar. But I would probably lean more towards the strawberries, the same two again, because it's a fruit. So I don't know whether that's right in me saying that, if you use the fibrous ones for fruits and the loamy ones for roots, that you'll kind of get a good guideline. So if you go into a store and see some compost and there's a bit of a bag open, or if they'll let you, or they can show you the consistency of it, and you pick it up and it's got twigs and it's quite really open structure, then that'll be good for you, obviously your fruits. But if you pick another one up and it's got a bit of a sandy feel to it, and it's quite a bit like soil based, really. I mean, this one is quite fibrous, this one. I think that's why it's done okay with the peppers, and it did okay for the potatoes, because it's a bit of a mix between these two sorts, if you know what I mean. So that's another way you could do it. Get some fibrous compost and some topsoil, mix them together if you want. It'll be a good potty mix. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just don't be frightened of trying things. And obviously I've put perlite in all these. They've all got perlite in just for a bit of added sort of drainage and aeration. Because I thought with this one here, it is quite compacted. It's quite hard, that. I thought, well, I need to put perlite in that, otherwise the roots might rot off. Because the roots have got to try and drive through that sort of firm compost and try and grow. But that's it for the challenge this year. So a big thank you to B&Q for supporting the whole thing and donating everything. And with a bit of luck, they'll be up for trying something for next season. So thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.